Hey, this is Commander Edelweiss from Lave Radio, and you're listening to the Loose Screws podcast. And drinking more coffee at 3 in the morning, probably not the best of ideas.
It is May 21st. Empire Strikes Back is officially 40 years old today. And it is Loose Screws time. I am Ty Worsham, and with me this evening is my... What do we want to go with this week? We're going to go with Dangerous co-pilot and audio engineer J.N. Trax. He's with us this evening. How's it going there, bro?
Hey, guys. You didn't say hey, guys, today, so...
I didn't say hey, guys.
I had to say it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We're all well here.
Also with us is our brand spanking new community manager, and Hurting the Hurts is Commander Chig. I am brain farting this evening.
Come on.
Well, the door's still open, so my mind is like wondering a little bit. So,
just this evening, this is a new thing for you?
Yeah, it's one of those weeks, man. It's one of those weeks. So yeah, Empire Strikes Back is 40 years old today. That makes me feel like an old man, because I'm as old as that movie is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm older.
I'm not quite that old. But, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
You young whippersnappers.
Yeah, something like that.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Still a favorite. I don't want to start a Star Wars discussion because I'm very sensitive about it, but it's fine that Empire is still my favorite, even though they've made all these other movies since then.
I think Empire is probably my second favorite Star Wars movie. I think Rogue One beat it. Now,
interesting.
Yeah, Rogue One's really good. I really enjoyed Rogue One.
It was good, yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. Rogue One is the only one that can kind of start to nudge into the conversation a little bit.
And so I recently watched these with my girlfriend. I see recently, like 6 months ago, watched them with my girlfriend because she had never seen Star Wars, like any of them. And she really enjoyed Rogue One. She didn't like any of the rest of them very much, but she really enjoyed Rogue One. So, and she's not a sci-fi person very much. So it's
Yeah, that's easy to see being like sort of a movie era thing, because it is a much more modern film in the way it's made and the length of the shots and stuff like that. I think it matches more the sensibilities that you go into a movie kind of expecting in that regard. So to someone who isn't into the lore and the sci-fi and the universe already, I could see that really standing out as a much better movie, in quotes.
Yeah. There's just something about that Rogue One that I really enjoyed, and I haven't really been able to put my finger on it completely. But I think I got it pinned down. I think Star Wars is better when you don't try to explain their spirituality with midichlorian horse shit. So,
yeah.
That was more Lucas trying to explain it with science than spirituality. The originals, it was, of Zen religion kind of shit in a religion.
Yeah.
Then the prequels, he added this midichlorian bullshit, and that's when it got weird.
Yeah, I deny midichlorians.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they are officially canon, which...
Well, I'm a prequel denier, so he can make it whatever he wants official. I don't care. I don't intend to watch him again.
Denier. Sequel denier, prequel denier, original 3, Rogue One. Solo, that movie can die too.
I enjoyed Solo. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I feel okay. I'm gonna. All right, I said I wasn't wanting to talk about this, but I'm gonna. I thought Solo was pretty good, considering it has a little bit of the Titanic effect, where you kind of know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But besides that, I think it was quite good. And who can be Harrison Ford? I think that guy did a great job of seeming like the way Han Solo might have been younger. But I'll drop this little grenade in the room and then walk out. I think The Last Jedi has the fewest bad dialogue lines of any Star Wars movie ever made, including Rogue One and Solo.
Okay, I'm jumping in now. Let me just go back to Solo real quick. 2 points on Solo. Reason Ty likes it, Amelia Clark. That in there. And the only good thing about that movie is Han shot first. There you go. Now, saying Last Jedi dialogue, who cares? The movie's so horseshit that I don't care what they were saying. That's the end of my rant.
Okay. I've gone through it a couple of times. I don't agree with everyone that it's as terrible as they think. I don't think it's... I don't think that the sequels end up being as good as the original trilogy, but I do not feel the way the noisiest part of the public seem to feel about them.
I think Rian Johnson, the director of Last Jedi, should be shot. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. That movie's one of the worst movies ever made.
So here's the question. Now. Here's the question. And just say which one, just say which of the three. So we're all in agreement that the original trilogy, episode 4, 5, and 6, is the best, correct?
Correct. I mean, it's the best
trilogy.
Group of three, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what is so out of the other two trilogies, episode 1, 2, and 3, and 7, 8, 9, which of those two is better?
Misa go with 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, I can't watch those at all. Everything you think Rian Johnson is a bad director, you are living in a different galaxy than this one, because everything in that prequel is two people walking to a window while they talk, or walking to a couch and sitting down while they talk. Anything that isn't a lightsaber fight is like sandpaper on your eyeballs. It's the worst crap from the perspective of filmmaking that I've ever seen. And
but as I say, everything's relative.
Yeah. Whereas I don't see nearly as much bad direction and stuff like that. And the stuff in the sequel trilogy there's some campy stuff that I think they were trying to be Star Warsy and put in some kind of campy dialogue. I think Rian Johnson did a much better job of avoiding that in a way that matches better to like a modern filmmaking perspective. But I get that people have like big problems with the story, but there's nothing anybody can do about that, I guess.
It's insulting to intelligence. It's just bad. I'm going to write you a book report, like I'm in middle school, just outlining how bad that movie is, just for you.
I'm the thing with the first or the episode 1, 2, and 3 is that the lightsaber fight scenes and the space battle scenes could be some of the best scenes, period, in all of Star Wars. If just from best combat scenes in all of Star Wars, let me qualify that, because the I think episode 3, the opening scene where they're flying through space.
Battle.
Yeah, that whole Coruscant battle is amazing. It is perfect. And then they walk over to this other part. It's just a trash fire after that. But the first 15, 30 minutes of that movie is amazing.
I think the combat feels like acrobatic kung fu movie. It's like beautiful in that way.
Yeah.
I have a penchant for kind of the other thing, like going back to Empire, and Return of the Jedi, and Luke Skywalker fighting Darth Vader with like what looks like actual physical exertion and emotional exertion. And I think that is closer to what is mirrored in the sequel trilogy.
Agreed.
So stylistically, like I end up really liking the lightsaber fights in the sequel trilogy because they have a little more of this, like it feels like it has weight and kind of humanity to it and physicality to it, instead of just the massive acrobatics and flying and flipping 6 times in the air and stuff like that, which is very cool in its own way. And I actually have watched The Phantom Menace on a DVD where the rule was if there wasn't a lightsaber on screen, I pushed the next chapter button until I saw a lightsaber. And it's a great movie if you watch it like that. You don't see anybody talk, and there's just a bunch of really awesome lightsaber fights.
Yeah. Anyway, we could literally talk about Star Wars for forever, but we should probably do the podcast.
Oh, is this show not about Star Wars?
Apparently not. No.
All right.
Anyway, quick note, real quick, is that Elite Dangerous is cheap on Steam right now. I believe it is on the cheap on Steam up and all over the weekend. And this is the weekend of Memorial Day weekend. It's like $15 right now for the Commander's Edition, which includes the original and the expansion and some paint jobs. Also, Planet Zoo, I believe, is like $25 or $30 right now. Let me just click over to the little store page. Yeah.
Yeah. If for some reason you didn't want the Horizons add-on, I think it's like half that. But don't buy it. Don't buy the half version.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, Planet Zoo. Oh shit! Come on, click the right button. Yeah, Planet Zoo is like $33. The deluxe is like $40. Basically, all of Frontier's games are on sale right now. So, Jurassic World Evolution is like $12 or something. And you can also buy a little $5 dinosaur pack. So, if you're looking for another game to play for a while, you should go look. Planet Coaster is also like $12. But yeah, go do the things because Steam sale. It's good shit, man.
Yay.
Also, so I'm going to mention this, and I have, as usual, I kind of have my own little internal debate going about it. But Civilization 6 is free on the Epic Store right now. It's free. Now, I'm a very big believer that free games are bad for the gaming industry as a whole, but I like a free game. So I just,
are there in-game purchases or anything?
I'm sure there are. I'm not real familiar.
The Epic Store.
Yeah, because that's just a shift in, that's not a free game. That's a free to play.
Well, the game itself, don't get me wrong. There is a whole game there to play, but there is some stuff that you can purchase. But out of the box, yeah, there is stuff that you can buy. I guess I just said that, but there's a whole little storyline and stuff like that you can play. I don't know if you can play it online against people if you don't have like the expansions or whatever, but it's there to go get. I don't like free games. I think that when you start I don't like the Epic Store for what they do, because I feel like that they are hurting the industry as a whole in the long run. And kind of what I mean by that is I think that when you give away something for free, you devalue it. So therefore you're making it to where the people who created it don't have a real value to it. And then it's just kind of keeps getting worse and worse. And,
you're thinking of like ripple-on effects of essentially devaluing other things, because it's like, why does this game cost $40 if Epic has a similar game for free?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Like there are certain developers, Frontier's one and Blizzard's another one, and there's certain developers that I will buy a game from literally launch day because I have faith in the developer. A good example is CD Projekt Red. When Cyberpunk 2077 launches, y'all won't see my fat ass for a month. When with Larian, with Baldur's Gate 3 launches, good luck finding me because I'll be in Faerun. But what I'm saying, though, is that these developers I wholeheartedly trust because they have a very good track record. So I will be buying those games full price because I think there's a value I'm giving to them. But in 6 months, if Epic gives away Cyberpunk for free, I don't think they will. But if they do that, you're completely devaluing it. So I work with a guy who never buys games. He always waits until they're free or until they're like on some sort of sale. He never buys them brand new. Well, I think about that over the industry as a whole. You're hurting the industry whenever you can't pay developers. And if you can't pay developers, they don't want to work to where they can do things and make games better and put more features in and make things look better and fix things, etc. So therefore, Epic on the whole is actually hurting the industry. and that's where my reasoning goes with that. So as much as I like a free game, and I know I'm one of the people who is like clicking the button, so I'm hurting it. I'm not one of the people who has actually bought anything from Epic. From what I've heard, it's kind of hard to do that anyway because they make it a pain in the ass, especially for Canada. Apparently, they don't like Canadian money for some reason. A buddy of mine in Canada that I know online who, he can't buy a game from them because it crashes every time. Don't know why. They may have got that fixed. I haven't talked to them in a while. But anyway, yeah, it's broke as shit from what I hear. So,
yikes.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to go through what all we've been up to, but I feel like we have talked about what all we've been up to.
Well, before tonight, I actually wasn't just walking around raging about Star Wars.
Yeah, really, that wasn't something we were doing all week.
I don't buy that.
What have you been up to? What have you been up to, Ty?
You go.
Man, pretty much the same stuff. I just work and I fly spaceships and I play Modern Warfare because all my old clan buddies are playing right now, and it's kind of cool. I haven't talked to them in like 10 years, so kind of cool to hook up with those guys. I'm trying to get them over in Elite, but they don't like simulations, so we'll see.
Well, I see how we rank. Cool. We don't get asked to come over and play that game with your old friends. No.
Man, it's a 4-man squad. I got 6 people. We have to rotate people in and out. It's hard. So
he's embarrassed by us.
Yep, I would be personally, but what about you, Trax? What have you been up to?
Same old one thing, then the other thing, the work, and then sometimes finding time to play some Elite, which is good. I haven't done too much betaing. I really just kind of popped in to see if they'd fixed a couple of my picky little points. 1 or 2 of them they did, and but I've kind of been running missions and stuff and trying to work on the faction over there. I did start working on some new music from the band Delaney, which is my friend Derek's band that he's playing in right now, who played on the Loose Screws theme song. So they recorded a 6-song EP, and it was recorded there in New Hampshire and mixed in Maine by our friend Kevin Billingsley, who is just a fantastic mixer for rock music, especially. And I got it sent over to me for mastering, so we're gonna probably have some new music by them maybe into next week.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
It's cool. It's fun. It's kind of, it's like hard rock-ish. It's the vocals end up being pretty emo-y, if that's a thing that people say anymore. I don't know. But I think it's pretty cool. I'll definitely share it in the channel when it comes around.
Yeah, I definitely want you to too, because like the work he did on our intro, like every Wednesday or Thursday, I get that song in my head, and I'm sitting at work humming it all freaking day long, and he did a great job. So I can't wait to see what else he does. But his band's called Delaney.
Delaney, Delaney. And they are places. They have some old recordings that is actually before Derek joined the band. They had a guitarist leave for life change reasons, and they tried out some people and took on Derek as he's the lead man over there. And I think it's really cool. So this stuff that's coming up is stuff that they've all been contributing to. It's not like old songs that he stepped into. So it's pretty nice stuff. I've gotten to listen through the whole thing, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Look forward to hearing it. It's not the death metal that Ty prefers, but I'm sure we'll enjoy it.
There's some cool riffs, and it's sing-songy, but it's got some hard guitar stuff, and there's plenty of glimmers of guitar heroics for those who like that stuff. So
I do like that stuff. So I'll be definitely checking that out. You'll have to send me like a hey, here's a behind the scenes before you actually have to put it on something. So
yeah. I'll share. I mean, I'm sure it'll be like available on things on all the various music streaming things.
Yeah.
So what about Mr. Chig?
Flying my good old spaceship. Took up 3D printing a couple weeks ago. That thing runs 24 hours a day. Was on Lave Radio. Got to talk to those guys for the first time. That was fun.
Yeah, you were on Lave, man. That's awesome. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that was that was good. You know, the British version of you, a bunch of Scotsmen and Englishmen, and yeah, that was interesting. Tried your SpaceX flight module landing thing. That was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But nothing happened with that for me. This got stuck in my head, and now it's been bugging me all week. You know how you hear a word, you've heard it a million times, and it's just a word. Like, you know, there's a hockey team in Chicago called the Black Hawks, but you say it fast, and it might sound like something else.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, was talking to somebody about something the other day, and I'm like, everything is cooler in space. Like, if you eat oatmeal in space and it becomes space oatmeal, it's better. Like, sex in space would be better in space. SpaceX. Damn it, Elon Musk. Now I can't unhear it. It's space sex every time I hear it. I know that's random, but that was part of my week.
I always thought he meant that.
Yeah, I got a feeling
I had never caught it. He absolutely meant it. You know he meant it.
I think so.
I mean, he's the biggest nerd on the planet these days outside of Bill Gates. He definitely meant it.
Yeah, it works on so many levels. I think it'd be really hard to believe that he didn't kind of wink at that when he named it. Mm-hmm.
Yep, but it never dawned on me. Never crossed my mind until this last week. And then I'm like, God damn it. So, but that's my week.
Well, I guess we should talk about distant screws now, huh?
I mean, you can.
So we got what, three days, 23 hours left of distant screws before it actually officially ends for the folks that are still out and about.
Yeah, recording on Thursday, and it ends at 1 a.m. our time. So I guess what did I have it end at? Well, there's been some daylight savings time stuff that's going on. But anyway, it ends the evening of Tuesday, May 26th in UTC, or 25th, sorry, UTC, which is morning of the 26th over here. And there are still a few people out and encouraging everyone to do it if they can. There was one waypoint in there that goes so far below the galactic plane that it's actually a challenge. And I did not mean for that or realize that it had happened at all. Going out in a ship with a 60 light year jump range, there was a couple of spots down there where it took me to white dwarfs that some of them I got a charge off of, and some of them I decided to synth into and inject into the FSD instead. But even with a 60 light year jump range, I had to do a couple of injections. And so I've heard, especially recently, somebody just ran into that, and I think they're going to end up missing a waypoint. And I feel really bad about that. I did not mean for this to be something that you needed to like have engineering unlocked to do, but I don't see how I can change anything about it now. So I'm sorry.
Way to go, Trax. Way to go, buddy.
Getting people lost in space since 2019.
I'd like to see somebody go buy a new account at 75% off of Steam and get their ship built and do the whole expedition before it ends on Tuesday.
That would be quite a feat.
Are there physically enough hours?
I don't know. I was trying to figure it out in my head. I don't think there could possibly be enough hours.
You'd have to do the like Sidewinder to Cobra to Felicity Farseer to the expedition.
Yep. And then get all the way up to Colonia, Sege back to Colonia, back to the bubble, hitting all the waypoints. I don't know. I don't think it would be possible. Be a hell of a feat.
Plus, you're going to run into this spot I was just talking about, and I don't see how you'd be able to get one of the small ships that you could certainly afford. Man, oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know either.
You'd have to, how quickly can you get into an ASP Explorer and get the grade 5 FSD engineered? I think if you had that, you'd be okay. If you were careful.
Than a few hours.
So wasn't it D2EA, Down to Earth Astronomy, who went there? because I feel like he had that series where he went from a Sidewinder to a fully engineered
to a Conda, right?
Something was it a Conda in like 12 hours or some shit?
Yeah.
Was it a fully engineered, or that's just to a Conda? That's just.
Oh, that's a point. I can't remember now. It's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the angle, right? You could road to riches and get to the Conda, and then if you only could engineer, but even with the Anaconda, if you only get Felicity and you just engineer the FSD, you're still so heavy that the Conda is not a great jump ship until you lightweight everything.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have the Guardian boost on top of it. I mean, it would, I don't know what you could get up to. Maybe 40? I don't
Without
even know.
looking at things, I bet you'd still be better in the Asp Explorer, which you could get much quicker. And then who knows, maybe you could unlock a couple of lightweight engineers,
Just use the Diamondback.
Okay, here's the plan. Well, the Diamondback, sure. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's see. You work your way up to a Diamondback, you unlock Felicity, and you get the FSD engineered. We're going to skip the Guardian booster. You're going to go out on the expedition. You're going to get to Colonia. And one of the engineers out there is one of the ones who can lightweight some things, right? Like one of them can do grade 5 on life support or something. Although
you need an invite though beforehand, don't you? To get to him, you have to have a few other engineers unlocked in order to get the invite for him out in Colonia.
Yeah, you'd have to.
And now that I'm thinking about it, if you're doing a small ship like the DBX, lightweighting things matters kind of less because they don't weigh that much to begin with.
Knocking 75% off of almost nothing is nothing. So
yeah. So I don't know, man. Anyway, good luck to everyone still out there. I'm still watching the channel for your pictures and seeing that everyone can make it. I don't know. I'd love to get out and try to help somebody. I don't see how I could help. I mean, the most we could do is, I don't know, fly out there with a mining laser if they didn't have a laser or an SRV to try to get them. If we were in the same instance and we could laser off chunks for Jumponium that they couldn't do on their own, and then they can scoop them up. That'd be the only way I could see for helping with this one waypoint situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wasn't he talking about possibly just detonating himself to get back rather than dealing with it? And I think if he were to, there's got to be a way. I don't think you need 60 light years to get out there.
Oh, I don't think so.
It just would be tricky. You'd be manually plotting, I think, a lot, but I think you could get out there.
See, the deal there is that like I got a like my Phantom only has like a 59.5, and I did all the waypoints, and I don't remember using Jumponium at all. So
it could have just been the path that I took, but I think this person is. I think this person was closer to 30. I really thought that would have been sufficient, but I think it does come. I think it does get a little bigger than that in a couple of places. Even if you find the best route in, like I'm sure I didn't take the best route when I got stuck and had to inject, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only injecting I had to do was when I was out by Beagle, but then again, my jump range is more than that, and yeah, I do remember that area did get a bit sparse when you were, way off the plane like that. So I don't know if I would have wanted to be in that jump range ship he's in, and if it is even possible, but give it a go, see what happens. Makes it a good story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Hate just brought up the fact that that there were some neutron stars near it, and he says if memory holds, the system has a neutron in it. So that might have been. So
you can get out.
Yeah, that. Of course, if he's the guy starting with a lower jump range to begin with, it only gives you, was it 200% your base jump range?
300%.
So is it 300% your base?
Yeah.
So if he's starting with a 17,
120.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember having issues, but it's been weeks since I was out there. So
just
feels
blame
like
tracks.
Years. We always do.
So little bit of news this week is that we're getting a patch, or we got a patch for Fleet Carriers beta. looks mostly just bug fixes. I don't see anything in here that was like new feature stuff or like a big change they were doing.
Except for the power play thing. I think they were all bugs.
Yeah.
That was mostly crash fixes where different random stuff caused people to crash was the biggest chunk of it.
Yeah, they fixed the crash where you could crash the desktop when you were redeeming vouchers. I wasn't getting that one every single time. They fixed the crash when the names are the missing fleet carrying names when the carriers in the system get near max. Fixed a bug that would cause tritium chunks extracted from subsurface deposits on asteroid to always contain 30% tritium. That feels like a balance thing. Now, what's interesting is this power play change.
I don't remotely understand what they're talking about.
I really wish I had more power play. So I'm going to read this word for word for what they said here about the power play thing. This is from Tim Smith, Community Manager. Greetings, Commanders. Today we wanted to share with you a bit more detail about a small adjustment to power play we will be implementing in June, following your feedback about how the control and taking control mechanics are working in the live game. After a change in the January update, the current control system's ethos calculations would limit its search for controlling minor factions filtered by star systems within 15 light years, and those that are exploitable by the same power as the control system.
Exploited, not exploitable.
Yeah, that's what I said, totally. Reading is hard. Previously, the calculations considered all nearby star systems. So
it's restricting where a power could push to a new system to take control based on what the controlling minor factions in that system are.
And if they're exploited or not. So that's the first thing.
Oh, so if they're already exploited maybe by another power.
Right. Or, yeah.
Maybe.
No, exploited by the same power as the control system.
Okay, so exploited and control become exclusive where they weren't before.
Right.
Okay.
At least that's how I understand it. In June, we will be adjusting these calculations to once more include the governments of nearby star systems that would become exploited if an expansion action by the same power succeeded. This change will be in addition to the previous one from January, thereby adjusting the limitation on which systems are interacted with.
Okay, so that sounds like oh boy. Okay, so that sounds like the government type, like if it's democracy or dictatorship or something, if that is not the same as the power that would be taking control, if that power expanded into it, would they change the government type of the system? Or would they not be able to expand into a type that had the wrong government? See, I don't get
know
this
how
at
you
all.
guys. I don't know why you guys don't understand this. I understand it perfectly. Let's move on.
Okay. I like this guy.
Yeah, the whole power play. I've done it for modules and for expiration data bonus. That's all that I've ever done. I never thought I would get into the power play stuff or the BGS stuff for that matter. Now I'm. Let's go neck deep. I was going to use another term, but I'm neck deep in the BGS stuff now as we're trying to get our faction, cranking real good. NL Hate is just knocking it out for us, which is badass. The power play stuff, I still don't know enough about it. And they got to give me a reason to care about it. And there just isn't one right now.
Yeah, I tried to do a little bit of research to try to understand this a little bit better. And really what I need is a power play person to contact me so I can understand it, because either A, I'm too dumb to understand it, which is always entirely possible, or B, it's a situation where we're going to have to see an action before we really understand it. And I'm leaning more toward B because I don't think I'm that dumb. But
see, I think Phoenix to Fire over at Lave Radio, he's been into that quite a bit lately, hasn't he? Maybe we should see if he'll come in and explain this shit to us.
Yeah, he has.
Let's see if he's up right now.
But yeah, it's only
ping,
it's
ping,
only
ping.
2 a.m. there. Yes, pinging him right now. That would go over well.
I'm over here clicking on the thing. Is he up right now?
But yeah, I don't know. I can't do the mental gymnastics to figure it out without actually doing it, because we've been over this. My brain is old and pickled. I can't figure stuff out like that.
Well, I'm starting with a bunch of base assumptions that I'm sure are wrong, because I've never paid attention to what the criteria for taking control or exploiting was to begin with. I have no idea what those things do or what they mean. I mean, I get that powers move into new systems or can lose control of systems, but I don't know why or how, and it hasn't affected my gameplay in any way, so I haven't learned that.
This is the extent for me is on the galaxy map. I hit the power play button and it makes this big, beautiful, colorful blob in our galaxy. That's what I know. Pretty
right. That's
colors.
what you show. That's what you show your friends and loved ones when they're like, "What are you doing all the time?" And you're like, "Don't you see how beautiful and amazing this is? Look how complex it is." You peer at it and you kind of go, "Look at this amazing thing." And they say, "I don't understand that." And we're like, "Well, that's why I'm here and you're somewhere else." And then when they leave, you go back to not understanding it.
I like the way you think. I'm going to go with that because it is crazy.
This is the biggest thing that we need to take out of this is the fact that they're still looking at, working on, and tweaking the nuts and bolts to power play, which I'm a big believer is probably the second most broken thing in the game. I think it like number one, I think is multi-crew / you can't multi-crew wings. Yeah. I think that's ridiculously broke. Followed very closely behind power play. I think we can do a whole power play episode. In fact, we probably should.
Well, we probably shouldn't because we don't know anything about it. But
we're going to hand the keys to somebody who knows anything about it.
This is my takeaway on this. Other than, we can talk Star Wars, but not power play. But the other takeaway I have is between the three of us, we have thousands of hours in this game, and we have no idea how this shit works. So, I mean, that's how much is in this game is we've got thousands of hours, and we're still like, yeah, it does the thing with the stuff, and then, move it on,
Is the point Ty's trying to make, though, that this is our sign in the darkness that Frontier is paying attention to the stuff that they never seem to speak about and goes for long periods of time without being talked about? Yes. About fixing and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah,
they're working on this, and they're added the CQCQ. So 2 things, seemingly abandoned features that got some love. So, yeah, good point, Ty. Good point.
Way to go.
I have one every now and then. So the other thing that actually starts today, May 21st, it looks like it started at 10 UTC. I cannot talk. And it ends 10 May 26 is in the beta. The fleet carrier cost has been reduced to $1 million. And all additional services for fleet carriers have been reduced to 100 credits per service. And this is a flat out stress test is what they're wanting to do. They're basically wanting to see how many fleet carriers they can get in this game before the whole server takes a shit.
They're testing their air conditioners.
Right now, there is a group of people sitting in front of a server rack praying to the server gods they don't have to work this weekend. I've done that. I've been the guy that does that.
I actually didn't realize this started today. When we did the podcast, I stupidly loaded up the regular game.
I'm actually in the beta right now, and I am live streaming. So the system I'm in is the very first system I ever discovered. I put my fleet carrier out here earlier this week, and this system just happens to have a moon that orbits about 150 kilometers from a ring. So it's like a shepherd moon, and one of the cool. It has a fairly fast orbit. So I'm sitting in the rings right now in my vet, and you can actually see the moon slowly moving. Like if you were to time lapse this video, you could actually see the moon slowly moving across. Like every now and then I look down and the moon is like further to the right, and it's kind of tripping me out a little bit. So
that's cool.
I I'm still severely impressed by the things they throw into this game. And that's the thing.
Spectacular.
Yeah. But yeah, so beta blowout. If you haven't got a chance to play around with fleet carriers in the beta, right now is your time to do it. They're $1 million or 1 million credits. Go do it. They're
switching
fun.
right now.
Yeah. And if anybody at all can explain the changes that they're making to Power Play, please message us or email us or anything so that we could understand, because I have no understanding of it.
We prefer pictures or videos because, reading is hard.
Yeah, if there's a chart or something, I would love that.
Yes, please.
Here's pretend you're explaining it to like a kindergarten person for me, okay?
I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching your explanation with my 4.5-year-old daughter, and if she doesn't get it, I don't get it.
It's a good chance I'm right there with you. So,
yeah, I haven't hopped in the beta much at all. I'll admit that. I'm just not big into playing betas. And then with the blowout today, I hopped on the forum, just to see if they were having any major problems or crashes. And there's still just idiots that post the most amazing things. I wish I could just call out names of people on the forums that drive me nuts. Why I don't go back to the forums for like weeks at a time. But the stuff that they say, I just have to get off the forums right away and go back and do something else, because it just ruins my day how stupid people are.
Yeah. Well, so to kind of go along those lines, man, you want to talk about Chig Chat real quick, man? You want to go into that?
Sure.
Actually, if I can interrupt for just a second.
Yes.
Yep.
It's Chig Chat. Yeah, that's a fact. It's Chig Chat. Where the cheese at?
We here at Loose Screws never end a sentence with a preposition.
You can't just drop shit like that on us, man.
What did I just do?
Did you just knock your mic off the table?
I knocked the mic off. It hit a key on the keyboard. I got NZXT cam pulled up.
I love that
scroll lock. Shit.
I love that we got to hear that for the first time. When you requested something earlier, I had no idea where it was coming in, did not know it was happening there. That's all right.
For the listener at home, I asked about 4 hours ago, I asked Ty if he could read some text for me into his microphone.
And he obliged.
Yep.
Well, that'll be Chig Chat for the week. Moving on. Wow, that was good stuff. I like it. I say we keep it because that was hilarious and good stuff, man. All right. So last week I asked what people are going to name their fleet carriers, and a few people came around with some responses. I got to learn about New Zealand's history from Grover Kiwi. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name that he put up there because I will ruin that completely. Hellblaze was talking about the French government blowing up a Greenpeace ship back in the 80s. That was an interesting read. Mac Winston talked about naming his after Alan Turing, but then brought up, we all know who that is. I'm sure. I won't get into that. Google it. But then he also brought up Mark Brunel and somebody else, people I'd never heard of. So I had to go learn this week, which was fun. I appreciate you guys coming and getting into all of that. This week I wanted to get into some CQC talk a little bit. It seems like that's all I ever seem to talk about. But I want to start with just, some beginner's tips for people. These are absolute tips for absolute beginners, because I just took up CQC. I looked to see, and it was just about 3 months ago was the first time I ever set foot in there. And the main reason I didn't before that was its reputation. I, had heard it was impossible to get a match. And if you did, it was absolute crap and everything else. And then I got into it on one Saturday afternoon and died, 200 times and maybe killed 3 pilots because I was so bad at combat. But I fell in love with it. And I always seem to be able to find matches. Sometimes it's easier than not. But the tips for absolute beginners, because I remember being an absolute beginner, is first, Pip management. In the regular game, it's important. In CQC, constantly be switching your pips. If you're getting shot at, have full pips and shields. If you're not being shot at and you're shooting at somebody, full pips and weapons. If you can't get your bead on somebody, you're circling around and you can't quite turn, odds are you don't have enough pips in engines. And literally, people say, turn flight assist off, you'll turn faster. It's not that simple, because if you turn flight assist off, you also start moving in a direction away from them, and you're actually getting farther away. And that'll bring me to my second absolute newbie point. Range when you start shooting. This one I've talked to squad mates about and everything else is when you're going after somebody and you have them in your crosshairs, you just want to start shooting. And you might not be looking at the range the target is from you. Absolutely, positively, do not start shooting until you're within range. Like pulse lasers, beyond a kilometer, you do 0 damage. But your target will know you're shooting at them and start lighting up on their radar. So then they know that you're coming for them. If you wait till you're closer, you're better. And knowing that damage drop-off starts at 600 meters means that anything beyond 600, you're not doing full damage. So just don't let them know you're coming early, and don't drain your distributor before you get in range. That's why the good players, you'll be shooting, and you think that, they're invincible because you're not killing them, but you're out of range. And then also you get in range, they have a full distributor, full pips, and you're dead super fast. That's the biggest thing that people start claiming. Oh my God, they're hacking. Third tip and final one for us is, I see it on new people in CQC all the time. I'll be chasing somebody and they're trying to fly away from me, and I can stay 100% behind them, shooting them because they are not using their thrusters at all. Almost all pilots will say, oh, man, duh, they're stupid. You can literally get behind somebody and be using down thrusters if they start pulling up thrusters if they start, side thrusters, whatever. You can stay right behind somebody. If they're not using their thrusters, it's very obvious, and you might be one of those players that's not using them all the time. Learning how to do that way, way, way before you ever touch flight assist on or off. Flight assist, that's a whole different animal, and touch that way, way later. But those are my tips. So if you're new, put those to use, and you might live a little bit longer. It might actually start scoring some kills, and get in there and start fighting. I mean, just the only thing wrong with CQC right now is not enough people are playing it. My question this week, 100%, is what, for people that are playing it, what changes would you like that you think would make it more fun? Come tell me what it'd be. Also, come to Chig Chat and say, Chig, let's play. And I will hop in and play with you if I'm on right then and there without hesitation. But that's Chig Chat this week. Hop in the channel. Tell me what fixes you want. And I mean, Trax, you've played it a lot. Ty has played quite a bit. What do you think would be the first fix you'd do now that they've added the queue from in-game? What would you add to entice your other people in and would get you in there more?
That's interesting. I don't know. I found it just tremendously fun when I have gotten in. It's really just about the matchmaking. I guess besides having the queue like in game, I mean, that's humongous. But the other thing would be just kind of making sure you can actually queue up with your squad mates somehow. And it would make, we usually play the free for all. You can force it to do that.
Yes, yes. You can invite people to your squad, and then you'll get paired up. I don't know if it's 100% you'll be paired up, but I've never had somebody that we were squatted up with not get in the same match.
It's up to 4. Like you still can't get over the magic 4 numbers. So
okay, so you're saying like the in-game squadron, or do you mean like
you can invite friends from within CQC?
Okay, and they'll be sort of like put into your lobby.
Yes, you'll be in a squad together, and we've had more than 4 of us where we've started a second squad, and then we end up getting all in the same match together. It seems to work really good because then you end up playing with who you want to play with.
Cool.
The thing is so few people play it now that if there's 7 people online, you're probably all going to be in a match with just the 7 of you, and some random dude is going to end up in there. And people, people could see how if you're squatting up, you could see how there could be exploited, and in a death match, people are going to be shooting, ganging up on one person or another. But honestly, people are doing it for fun, and it's fun. I have much more fun shooting Ty or Dubs or Data than I would shooting some random dude. It's funner to talk smack with your friends than it is some random stranger you'll never talk to.
Yeah, definitely. And we've never played like a team deathmatch or the capture the flag mode game. I wonder if there's some way that those would become more viable if there was like a lot of people and the matchmaking was a little more controlled. I don't know.
There is. I mean, right now there's team deathmatch. If you go to the CQC Discord, usually in the middle of the afternoon, it's a lot of European guys that seem to be playing it though. So their timing is, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll get the ping on Discord that, team deathmatch starting in, such and such time, but it's usually I'm at work at that time, so I can't be on to hop into their team death matches, which sucks. But when you see the names of the players that are doing that, it's all there's like 19 elite CQCers and like 4 or 5 of them are doing that at that time. So even if you get in, you're probably just going to be getting murdered. But they do go easy on newer players. They want them to play. I mean, I think one guy was going weaponless against a guy last week just to do it because the guy was so new. Yeah, just
trying to ram him.
Yep,
that's awesome.
So, but that's that. Unfortunately, that degrees of separation between the top players and the other players, it's so massive right now, and because not enough players are playing it, you can't get matched up against people of equal skill because there's not enough to have more than one match going. And they're not going to make you just sit there for an hour waiting for a match. So you're going to end up in there, and just know you're going to get mopped up against, any of the top probably 500 players, let alone the top 20 that seem to be on quite a bit.
So, looking over at the chat over on Twitch, NL Hate brings up a very good one. He says cross-platform engagements.
Or CQC, absolutely.
Well, game wide.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That right there is a great one. That should be number 1.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that I don't think we're very far away from crossplay anyway. Mainly because some of the stuff I've been reading about the new Xbox and the new PlayStation that's coming out, I don't think we're very far away. That being said, Frontier has not even officially said that they will bring the game over to the Xbox or the PlayStation. So I couldn't imagine why they wouldn't, though. But yeah,
I've heard everything's going to be backwards compatible, so they'll automatically be on the new systems.
Yeah, I haven't actually. Yeah, I don't follow the Xbox or the PlayStation real closely. I need to get a little closer on that. But NL Hate saying that it will remain available as the Xbox One version per Microsoft. So, so there you go. It's still it'll be on the new one. So yeah.
They're all using standard chips now, for the last generation and this new upcoming one. So there's no, there shouldn't be any coding problems.
Yeah, the new ones are PCs. The Series X, the Series X, Xbox, and their naming, good God. And then PS5, they're essentially PCs now. And that's why, people are wondering if they're going to have VR support and stuff. I think it's going to be hacked in, if nothing else, shortly after they're launched. Just because they are PCs.
Yeah, I don't think the PlayStation will do anything at all to support VR because they've already announced their own PSVR 2 or whatever the hell they're going to call it. They're working on a new PlayStation VR, so that's
sure.
Yeah, I could see them not embracing third-party VR. However, Microsoft has said that they have no plans to do their own VR.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still rumors floating around that, it's just a matter of software to plug in your VR. Like all the plugs will exist where you can plug in your existing VR and it work. And if that's the case, it's like I probably will not get a PlayStation next. I'll probably will get an Xbox because I'll have the Xbox what is it, the Game Gold version,
the Ultimate Game Pass.
Yeah, where you have it on PC, you have it on Xbox, and then the saves are cross platform and stuff. I could easily see me doing that.
Xbox is so embraced just making their console and the PC the same. I mean, right now you can already play games on both platforms, not all games, but a good chunk of them. And I don't see why that would stop. And if they're going to be doing that, I absolutely see them having the Xbox Series X that comes in a box on allow VR at some point. Maybe not right at launch, but I guarantee you're going to be able to play VR on that eventually.
Yeah,
sure.
That's exactly what I think too. Yeah, and I'm a very big PC guy. There's I'm not the biggest console guy, but I've been so I'll tell you my Xbox 360 story. I owned 4 Xbox 360s. 2 were given to me.
Ring of Death?
No, just a red light of death.
Yeah.
So the red ring was like an overheating issue. I never had an overheating issue. I had hard drive failures. So my very first Xbox was given to me by PlayStation or by Best Buy. Like I went to this conference. They said, "Hey, you want an Xbox?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I do." So they gave me an Xbox, and then it died. So I sent that one to Microsoft. They sent me a refurbished one, and then I had another red light hard drive failure. So I sent that one off. They sent me that one back. When they sent me that one back, they actually sent me no. They sent me that one back within 3 months, red light. So I gave up on it. So a few months later, the Xbox 360 Elite, like the black one that had the bigger hard drive and the supposed all the better stuff in it. I'm like, oh, this will be the one I get. I'll like this one. So I bought that one myself. And after I bought that one, within 6 weeks, I had a red light. Same damn problem. And people say, well, are you sure you weren't doing anything with it? Were you like putting a thing? Man, I'm a PC guy. I'm leaving it literally on top in the open, so it has plenty of cooling and stuff. So it's not overheating. It's not giving you overheating light. It's just the hard drives are filled. The hard drives they're putting in them are shit. So anyway,
son of the bitch.
Red light lit up, and me being me, I sent it to Microsoft. They sent it back. This one here lasted about 9 months. Like this was the longest lasting one yet. And I was enjoying the hell of it. I was playing Final Fantasy 13. I was 2 or 3 bosses from the end boss, fighting him, and then mid-match it died. And then I looked down at the screen. It had the same little red light on it. I was so pissed off. I put every single thing I had Xbox into a box and took it down to GameStop where they robbed me and bought a PlayStation. And I have not owned an Xbox since. But if they do all the things they're talking about with the Series X, I will probably be an Xbox guy on the next generation, because Sony has kind of rubbed me the wrong way with their not wanting to play in the crossplay arena at all. So anyway,
yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, that's my rant about the Xbox. But yeah, you're 100% right. Hey, it's time for crossplay. It's time. They need to. I feel like it'll be coming. I feel like that it'll be something they put in this next one. I can't say your name, Master Karikas. he's kind of with us on that too. So yeah, your crossplay needs to happen. So anyway, I'm horrible at pronouncing names, but everybody kind of knows that. So anyway, so looking at story time this week.
Hey, can I interrupt one more time?
Yeah.
Gather round, children. Old Man Ty has another story to share.
I think it kind of cut out.
Sorry, it wasn't publishing to Discord very well. I'll put it good in the in the post-produced version. I got to remember to change my mic settings before I run that one. It starts out too quiet.
I like the sound shit coming together. I love it. That's funny stuff.
Yeah, I'm digging that too, man. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway, nobody posted a story time this week because we were supposed to all go out to the Soontil system and take pictures there. I actually didn't get a chance to because I was lazy. So shame on me.
Me too.
I went out there 7 times.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Oh, shit. Yeah, right, go on.
What's interesting about the Soontil region is that it is uninhabited. It's one of the core systems in the bubble, and it is uninhabited. There is nobody there, which is just kind of neat to me that they did that. There's a lot of Raxxla theories that kind of surround this system. I'm not going to give anything else away, but so your assignment is for this week is to still go out to the Soontil system, SOONTILL, for in case you have trouble typing it, because if you're like me, I had trouble typing it for quite a while. But yeah, go out there, and there are some tourist beacons you can go to and read, and it's a very interesting system.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely go there, check that out. But that's what we'll be doing for this week. So a couple of little tidbits I found, and one of them I'm pretty sure is pretty old because it's like from 2017 or something like that. But the other one I believe was released this week. So over on YouTube, this guy who released it in 2016, Z Marco, recorded a 3-second video every jump after he got 1,500 light seconds from the star to get the brightest background. And he compiled all these into one 3-minute video of him going from Sol to Sagittarius A.
And so it's like the star background stuff is what he I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really cool seeing the whole thing move. And I've recently become I seem like every few months I get fascinated with this game where the things that are moving around in it, I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. They put that in this game. And I'm steadily just kind of blown away every single time I get around to this, where it's like, wow, I can't believe they put that in the game. And the way they did this one here, he went through and, ended up at Sagittarius A, the black hole there. But it's so cool seeing the nebulas and stuff pass by as he's jumping from each one to the next. So I'll leave that one in the show notes.
That's cool.
And another one that...
No,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, it is super cool that the nebula is passing and you see like star clusters that you go past, and this game, as you said, it never ceases to amaze. It seems like a broken record repeating that same thing again and again. But both this video with all the jumps to Sag A and the next thing you're going to talk about are just, this game is just too cool. Thanks, Frontier.
So this, I found this a couple days ago. This was posted on Reddit by Kosvivek. So he went through the trouble to take screenshots of the Seagull Nebula. And what he did was he went around and found stars that were about 120 to 140 light years between the central star of the Seagull Nebula. And he would photograph the Seagull Nebula. So effectively, he's getting different angles all the way around.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and he has a little video there, and I never realized that that they actually modeled the nebulas in full-blown 3D. I always assumed that they were like 2-dimensional screenshots, but this clearly
like
shows that they're this clearly shows that they are modeled in some way 3D. I don't quite know how they did it, but I mean, you can clearly see that there's something going on there. And if I was really smart, I would have made sure to link to show this in the video feed, but I forgot about that. So
no, it's sort of like it's like the Matrix bullet time thing, like it wraps around the nebula. Yeah. Pretty neat.
Looks like it should be called the Phoenix Nebula. That's what it looks like to me, with the red color, and it does look like a bird from that one. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, that is neat.
He actually, if you look through the list there too, he actually has another screenshot of the map, of the galaxy map, where he took bookmarks of all the places he took the screenshots from, and it's I love it when I see things like this. I actually have reached out to him because I want to see if he could do the Orion Nebula the same way, because I would love to see what that would end up looking like. So anyway,
I just posted the link to that one in the show notes in case anybody wants to go back and look at it.
Yeah, the one from Sol to Sagae is.
I'm putting that one too. Yep.
Yeah, that one's been around for a minute, so I'm sure that's been out there. So.
If anybody's wondering, there is a show notes channel on our Discord, so you can go and find anything. If it's interesting, we'll try to link it there. We haven't been using it a whole lot, but I'm going to try to use it more. Actually, it hasn't been used in over a month, so. So I'm going to put that in there. All right.
What happened? Is Ty okay?
I don't know. He went, "Oh."
He went, "Oh," and then he disappeared. That's okay.
I hit the mute button. Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Chasing a guinea pig down the hall.
Yeah. Chasing a guinea pig. Yeah. But anyway, I was able to, that's how I got muted. I was able to copy and paste the link to it in the stream chat. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, I can do things now.
He can do things.
Stuff and things.
Yeah. So the pilot finished up his series this week. For those that don't know, the pilot's been doing a series on YouTube where he centers around one ship every week, every couple of weeks. And this last week, he centered around the Glorious Federal Corvette, which is my ship. And it was glorious. He did an amazing job on the video. I'm very impressed with his work on the video wise. He's probably has plans to do other things in the game, but I guess we'll have to figure those out when he gets to doing them. But I kind of wanted to mention, because Chig, you have a vet, right? I know you do.
Oh, yes.
And Trax, you don't have a vet, or I know you do have a vet.
Of course I do.
But you don't really play with the vet, right?
I was flying it last night.
Yeah.
I use the vet.
Our squadron has a lot of people that use vets. Data, Trax. We get in a Haz-Res or in a CZ or something. It's a freaking vet fest.
CZs, or when we're doing like pirate massacres or like, elite
wing
level
missions.
Yeah, elite level like wing assassination missions, stuff like that, where there's going to be like a lot of engineered vultures as backup for the target. I'll bring my vet for those.
And Luigi Dushku insists on riding on the Corvette, so I have to bring him with.
Oh man, but man, I could talk for days about the vet, but I wanted to ask you guys how y'all do y'all's weapons, because there's a bunch of people that do their weapons differently on the vet. Like the way I do mine, probably my favorite way I do mine is I got 2 class 4 beams with thermal vent and efficiency, and I got 2 class 1 rail guns strictly for feedback, cascade, and super penetrator, long range on both. And then I have 2 multi-cannons, one with incendiary rounds and one with corrosive for the class 2s. And for the class 3 underneath, I have a regeneration Healy beam. Because that class 3 hard point's really in a bad spot. So I just, I that's where I stick my Healy beam for that. And man, I really like that setup. I really do. I've played around with a bunch of others, but I'm curious what you guys do with your vet.
Go ahead, Drex.
Okay, so I've used I haven't had the ship for all that long, but I put it together and then finally decided I bought it long before I outfitted it, but I finally engineered it and outfitted it and everything when I needed to fight in a couple of wars. And I ended up changing the configuration a few times during that, because it got a lot of kind of hard testing. So I have tried using, for the size 4s, using one beam and one multi-cannon. And that had some nice aspects to it. And I honestly, I think the size 2s I've always had pack hounds in them. And then I think I had some railguns in the small, and I think I probably tried to put another efficient beam on the size 3, and it just, a lot of things kind of weren't working. I was running into trouble with just flying a ship that's that kind of big, and I know it's nimble for a large ship, but it's still a large ship at the end of the day, and I was kind of struggling with engineered opponents that have a lot of chaff. You run into those elite pythons. That should be an easy kill for a vet, but they're SCB and chaff infinite machines. They have their cheat mode or whatever that the NPCs do, and they just constantly kind of going. And I don't know, it could be a struggle. I guess python's probably not that big a deal because I can probably even hit it with the chaff, but chaff on a vulture, for example, it was really kind of pissing me off in the Corvette. So I did change. So what I have now is I have the 2 size 4 beams with efficient and thermal vent. And I know that distance is pretty poor on them, but I have ways of kind of mitigating that. I have the pack hounds in the size 2s. One of them is overload, and then the other one is, well, I guess they're high capacity, but then one of them is has overload on it, and the other one has drag, which I like for slowing down those nimble ships. And I have I got rid of one of the railguns. The one that's still on there in the size 1 slots, I never switch to that fire group. I just don't. If somebody's popping an SCB, I'm just going to throw a bunch more ammo at them. For some reason, it just seems to work more efficiently than trying to switch my fire group. So I do have a small multi-cannon that has corrosive, and that helps a ton. Lets the beams basically be most of the work. And then the size 3, I actually put an advanced plasma accelerator that I had laying around under there, just as more anti-chaff weaponry. So if somebody's popping a lot of chaff, I have a fire group that's just pack hounds and the plasma accelerator, and I can take care of them that way. It's a little tougher with a big lumbery ship like that, but it's all right. It seems to work okay. I think the other configuration that I'm considering would be actually to flip the size 4s to be multi-cannons, and then basically make every other hard point either a beam laser or a combination of beams and not pulse, bursts, beams and bursts, because I do want some thermal vent, but I don't know, just kind of spreading them around and stuff. So we'll see about that. I guess that's a configuration that could work, but I haven't tried it yet. Then I guess if I was doing that with the multi-cannons in the big slot, then it's a little bit lower total energy use. So I could use a long range mod with the thermal vent, which could be more effective. But as it is right now, needing to stay pretty close to things, I usually trick ships into chasing me, and I just go reverse and try to kill them that way. And that seems to work pretty well. So I end up flying it just entirely different to any other combat ship, because I end up reverse skiing most encounters, except for the eagles that are just gone in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Pop like a pimple.
Have you tried PAs on it?
Not on the big slots, just on the underside, because like I said, it's I mean, I see actually Data we were flying last night. He's got 2 class 4 plasmas on his, and that could be fun. Maybe I'll roll a couple of those up, engineer them.
My experience with that is that it works really well until you run across a eagle, and when you hit that eagle, it's not gonna. It doesn't work very well. So
yeah, then you could make up for that with like fill the rest of your slots with like phasing sequence burst lasers or something.
Yeah, I actually have a whole. I have a whole build where it's all phasing pulse lasers with phasing sequence. That I consider that's my PvP build.
That's how Dub's Corvette is currently configured.
Yeah, I don't feel like it works as well against PvE, but I feel like it really works really well against PvP stuff. So
stuff that's going to last a while, regardless.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with that. Like most PvP you encounter is going to be running prismatics with some extra armor, and if you can hit both, you're shortening the fight anyway. So, but anyway,
right. So, what about you, Chig? What does yours run?
I gotta love the Corvette. It's so versatile for combat. You know, I've run just about everything on it, and lately, you know, what we've been doing is for the BGS is all those pirate hunting missions and, you know, elite pirate wing missions. As you mentioned, it's chaff, and I got sick of it. So I went all fixed weapons. You know, I got 2 fixed beams in the huge slots, and then, you know, I've got 3 rail guns on it. You know, everything's fixed except for my, you know, tiny multi-cannon, which is just for getting corrosive on stuff. But the Corvette's nimble enough that I can dance around and, you know, get those things on target and end fights pretty quickly. You know, I do a lot of those wing missions, you know, solo. It's only PvE, obviously, but with those railguns, man, stuff dies fast. And I don't know, a fully engineered dirty drive Corvette handles about the same as the fighters in CQC, so I don't feel it that I don't feel it that big of a disadvantage, to tell you the truth.
It does not.
Oh, I'm telling you, those fighters in CQC are not the most nimble things on the planet.
You feel the unengineeredness in CQC.
Absolutely.
Like I was listening, you know, when you're going over your tips and stuff earlier in the show, I was like, yeah, it's that distributor is because you can't engineer it. That's why you have to get on that thing.
Yep, absolutely. You got to pay attention. But I mean, like any build I've had with the Corvette, I always just end up modifying to where I can just hold the trigger down the whole time, because you don't lose your targets like you do in the Anaconda or the Cutter, you know, the other big ships. You can just stay on target so well with the Corvette compared to the other large ships that you can just, you know, I ended up, you know, if I'm laser heavy with my Corvette, it's usually pulse lasers so that I can just hold down the trigger and I don't have to worry about it. And you rarely drain the distributor. You go beams and you're empty so fast. So, and I mean, the current build, I never really let go of the triggers. It's just hold down and, you know, fire the rail guns when I get them in sight, and the beams are just running constantly. But that's my vet.
That's interesting. I want to ask you guys, I guess, now about your pip management in that, because I also, like I said, my fight style is so different in the vet than any other combat ship, but my pip management style is also 100% different. Like I end up putting like 3 or 4 into weapons most of the time, as long as I'm firing. And then sometimes I have almost nothing in engines, which is just so backwards from the way I usually fight. What happened? You know, that's the only way I can keep the distributor full, because I'm usually just draining that thing with the lasers. What happens on your builds?
So from me, because I'm running all efficient anyway, I typically will run with 3 on WEPs. I'll run with 1 on engine, and well, I guess it's technically 2.5. 2.5 on WEPs, 2.5 on sys, and 1 on engine is typically what I do. Now I flip it around depending on the situation too. So I'm moving pips fairly often in combat. Yeah. But if it's just like mindless NPC type stuff, like that's usually where I have it.
Every ship except the Corvette, I'm pip managing like crazy. In the Corvette, I'm 1-1-4. 1 in systems, 1 in engines, and 4 in weapons. That way I can just shoot, because my plan is just to kill them before they kill me, and which is I guess, the story of every combat, but kill them faster that way. And I want that one in engines just so if I need to turn faster, I've got a boost available. You know, you're not boosting constantly, so you should have a boost when you need it. And you're building fields back up a little bit, but with your prismatics, does it really freaking matter? I mean,
there's a very good line of reasoning for not even putting any if you have prismatics, for not even putting pips on shields, even though with pips your shields are, was it 200% stronger or something like that
from 0 to 4.
Yeah, I do try to be a little bit active, at least on the shield side, flipping back and forth. But for most encounters, it's not a big deal. It's those situations in like a high CZ where it bugs and it doesn't load any friendly ships for a while, and you're taking fire from like 6 or 7 or 8 engineered hostile ships at the same time, and you've got to last 5 minutes until the bug is over and your friendlies show up. That's this kind of situation where I go, pips to shields, and I'll end up firing a few SCBs before they'll turn up. And then after that, it's back to, 4-1-1 all into weapons.
That situation, it's a launch fighter to hope to distract them, 4 to shields, 2 to engines, and boost away as fast as you can to buy time. Because I've done that where there's like a dozen ships shooting you when you entered a CZ and nothing spawned to help you. That's a fun little bug. I can imagine if you dropped in like Fertilance or something.
Well, so I've actually been playing around with bioweaves again, just because of the shield regeneration. Yeah, on the vet.
Yeah,
just for shield regeneration time. And I know I'm a very big. After I got prismatics, I'm a very big believer that prismatics is the way to go. However, after doing the war and all that stuff, I was kind of curious, so I loaded up the bioweaves again, and I think I'm liking those again just because of the regeneration time. I mean, the regeneration time difference is like 40 minutes or something like that. So
yeah, but that's to get to full. I mean, you can, usually even if you lose your shields, the battle's going to be over pretty soon anyway, and you can reboot and get half your shields back. That's so the prismatics. I don't know. On the big ship, I just don't see a point doing anything other than prismatics.
I've drawn up a build that still had like 3,500 effective thermal shields on a bioweave. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess with that size of a shield, you do still have use for SCBs. I don't know. It could be okay. I literally haven't tried non-prismatic shields on my vet. I had them sitting there in storage by the time I bought the vet, so I've never thrown a bioweave on it before. You could see where it would be like in a Hazres situation, it might be perfectly fine.
Yeah, Dubs is probably going to listen to this and he's going to be like, those fucking idiots, and he's going to tell us exactly what we should be doing.
Dubs would never say that. He would say, sure, all these builds work perfectly.
Yeah. I want to say about your Corvette, watching Data had his night vision on, and we were watching Dubs fly his little gnat scout around you and fighting you. With the night vision on and from a distance, it looked like this old school video game kind of thing going, like old graphics because the green tint to the ships, you
Missile
couldn't
Command.
see the textures. It looked super cool, but he was just kind of revolving around you, and as he got closer, you could see how you had a hard time tracking, and as he would go around, he'd go out at a distance, then you'd catch back up and you'd be able to shoot him, then he'd circle back in close and get behind you. But it was super cool because it was like, I don't know, you ever seen like a picture of an atom where the electrons going around at different circles around the atom? That's what the scout looked like, and watching the Corvette shooting it and following it around and around, and then Ty hitting shield cell banks and stuff. So then you start getting that glow going on, or that pulse going on. That was super cool to watch, that Corvette going against a tiny ship like that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about this week. Did y'all have anything else?
I do have one more thing. When it was revealed to me live on this show that the fleet carriers currently cost only 1 million credits, I switched over to the beta, and when I booted up, I found that I was way outside the bubble in Ty's system because I had docked on Ty's fleet carrier before he flew it out there.
Are you out here?
No, I suicided and got back to the bubble because I wanted to buy a fleet carrier. So I suicided back to a Sidewinder, bought the biggest FSD I could put in it and flew the 8 jumps to the nearest fleet carrier sales spot. And now you are streaming, right?
Yes, sir.
Now I need people to name this fleet carrier right now in this moment because I'm sitting here on the name screen. Name my fleet carrier.
I'm waiting for the chat.
Wait for Twitch to catch up.
Share chat. Yeah.
I could put it on. I could put it on. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Oh yeah, I guess you could. That'd be a good idea.
Come on, people. Who's watching?
Evelyn's Dance, according to NL Hate.
Oh, that's way more meaningful and less joking than I was thinking.
Yeah, I was going to go something way the other direction, so I'm just going to be quiet now.
Oh.
Yeah, now I feel like a jerk for wanting to call it penis enlargement. or overcompensation.
Yeah, overcompensation.
Oh my God. Cialis overdose.
Carrier McCarrier face.
Okay, I like that. Carrier McCarrier face. It fits.
You know what the reference to the whole Carrier McCarrier face is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that research vessel,
the Bodie McBoat face.
Yeah. Anyway.
Incoming message. I just bought a fleet carrier.
You just did it. You're doing the things.
Yeah,
you're doing the things.
You're a guy, person.
So like I'm probably gonna catch some flack for like talking about the vet. And I got this vet about 3 years ago, and for whatever reason, like when I saw the Anaconda, when I saw the Anaconda, I was like, oh, that's the ship I want. But then I started looking at the price of it, and I was like, I'll never get it. So let me get the Python instead, because that's the one I can afford. This is back when earning money was a hell of a lot harder than what it is now. And then, after I got my Python, I was like, okay, I can actually earn a little bit money a little bit faster now. And again, this is before void opals and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe I can get an Anaconda. So as I was saving up to get an Anaconda, I bought an Anaconda. I was like, oh, wow, it gets even easier to earn money because you can start doing these bigger missions and stuff and these bigger cargo runs and these bigger bounties and all this other stuff. And then I was like, well, maybe I can get the Federal Corvette because that's the ship I really wanted. And then I got the damn thing. And I love this ship so much. It is exactly the type of ship I play this game to play with. That's exactly how I feel about it. And I just love the ship. I know a lot of people like the Cutter or the Anaconda, and I know on paper the Anaconda has a higher DPS, and I know all the things, but the vet is the best ship in the game for me. And I don't care what stat people bring up. I'm a very big believer. Fly the ship you love, not the one you're supposed to.
Right. So
if you're like, I just spent 2.5 months in or 2 months in a Phantom. And after the first week and a half, I fucking hated being in the Phantom. And wish I had taken.
He's allowed to have his feelings, Chig, even if they're wrong.
Oh. All right, I'm better now. Go ahead. Next, you're going to say Last Jedi was a good movie.
Last Jedi was a good... Oh, sorry.
Anyway.
All right, you continue with your eulogy for the Corvette. I mean your tribute to the Corvette.
Anyway, I think that's going to be it for the show. Always reach us at loosescrewsed.com. There's a contact page there. I need to update and put Chig's information on it. You can email us at loosescrewsed, our loose screws questions at gmail.com. I'm brain farting everything. You can get us on Twitter at loosescrewsed. I don't always follow the Twitter because I'm lazy on that. And I pretty much hate social engineering or social
Social media.
God, social media. Jesus.
I hate social engineering.
Yeah, I was like, that's not right.
I just hate people.
Jeez.
I'm done talking. Someone else talk. Take us out.
All right. Well, do I get to do the cheese again?
Oh, yeah. By the way, I need to put this in the show notes, but we need to end every single episode with cheese talk with Chig.
What's the cheese of the week?
Here we go.
Hold on. And I'm going to need sounders for that tracks, okay?
Okay, I didn't prepare any for today.
Bumpers. I know bumpers. I didn't tell you, so.
All right, I'm going this week with my favorite cheese of the whole world, and you guys are going to think this is some crazy hipster cheese, but it's not. Just because it is aged in a cave doesn't mean it's hipster. It's actually been around since damn near the time of Christ. It's called Roquefort. It's made in the south of France. It's a blue cheese. I'm going to say right now, it will change your life. Roquefort cheese. All right, now what do I say? Oh, yeah, stay cheesy, everybody.
I can't do the blue or the goat kind of cheeses. Those don't work for me. They taste like soap.
Dude, you have issues. Yeah, you have no idea. A lot of people, blue cheeses, you think blue cheese is blue cheese. One time, my buddy, who's huge into cheese, he lives a few hours away. He comes up to visit a few times a year, and he brings a bunch of random gourmet cheeses with him. And he had like 4 different kind of blue cheeses. I'm like, well, that seems like a waste. I just thought blue cheese was blue cheese. Side by side taste testing them. Oh my God. It's like drinking different whiskeys. It's so amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh God. Now I got to go eat some.
All right.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Anything else, Ty?
What the fuck is happening with my podcast?
It's getting real loose and real screwy.
Getting screwy with it. All right, let's sign off before we just jibber jabber or get back on Star Wars, because actually we never did cover Star Trek. We'll do that one next week.
We'll have to get Data on here for that. But
yeah. Yes, we should do that for sure.
All right. That's all I got this week, guys. We'll holler at you guys next week. Have a good night. Thank y'all.
Nice.
Stay cheesy. Whatever the hell Chick says. We got a good Lord.
Cheese is life.
Night, y'all.